Okay, so here's our last drawing for tonight. It is solid 9, and this one's got a little bit of everything in it. Um, we've got a circle that we'll be starting with. We've got a tangent line coming down, a line that's not tangent. We'll create this. We've got a wedge here that is tangent to the top that's filleted all the way around. When we draw these things, when we draw this wedge, we're going to have to do to create that, we're going to have to create a new plane like we did in the last drawing. And then when we extrude this, we're going to have to extrude in a different way. We'll have to do a mid-plane extrusion for this. So that's something new. So hopefully with all these drawings, we're starting to add new techniques. Starting to add new tools to your tool belt, your virtual tool belt. Yeah, so we're going to start with this drawing. We're going to start on this side over here with our origin being right in the middle here. That keeps popping up. Let me see if I can get rid of that. We're going to start with a 2.5 inch diameter. Oh, that's driving me crazy, this thing. I wonder if I can shut that off. We're going to start with a 1 1/4 radius or a 2.5 inch diameter here. We also have a 1 5/16 diameter here. From the center point all the way down to this bottom edge is 2.5. From wherever this vertical line is, we're coming 3 3/4 over to the center of the circle, and then 1 1/4 over to this little lip here. So that would be 3, 4, 5. That's 5 inches total from this corner over to here. This is a little 1/2 inch lip. It's a 1/4 inch tall, this little lip thing. This part is 3/4 of an inch tall. 6 inches from the center of the circle all the way over to the edge of here. The whole extrusion is 3 inches wide. Okay, so we have enough information here where we can do this. It doesn't tell us how long this bottom piece is here, nor does it tell us how tall this piece is. So what we're going to assume is we're going to assume that this is tangent to this top edge, and this is a 45-degree angle. So with those two things, we should be able to draw that, I believe. Does it give us any more information? Yeah, I don't think it does. Okay, so it's a 45-degree angle that goes up tangent to the top is what we know. It should give us, I would think that it would give us this measurement here, the base, but it doesn't, so we'll just have to eyeball that, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this drawing. We'll go to new part. And I'm going to start on the front view, or the front plane, excuse me. And I'm going to start with a sketch of a circle. When I drag this out, I want to make it, I want to make the, as I pull it out like this, it gives me that little measurement right next to my mouse, right next to the pencil there. I want to get it close to the size that I want it. So 0.3 is pretty close. I'm also going to draw another circle at that point, and that has smaller. And I'm going to be done with the circle. I'm going to draw a line. And when I draw this line, I want to, I don't want to start at the center. I'm going to start off center a little bit. And I'm going to come down about 2 inches or so vertical. I'm going to come over about 5 inches. down about a quarter, over about a half, up about an inch. When I come over this time, I want to come over so that I'm right to this corner here, but I'm going to come straight down to here. And then I'm going to go up to that point. So it looks something like that, and then hit escape. Okay. So that's the general shape of what we're going to be drawing. So let's add some sizes to this thing. So we know that the diameter of this is 2.5, and it shouldn't move a whole lot because we originally drew it fairly close to the same size. The drill here is 1 5/16, so 1 5/16. The distance from, let's see, from the center of this to the edge of this measurement is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, so 1/2 inch. And the distance, let's see. I know that this distance has got to be 5. And this distance here got to be 1/2 inch, 0.5. And the distance from here to here is 0.75. And the distance from here to here is 0.25. And the distance from the center of my circle here all the way to the very end down here. Ooh, do I need to put that in? No, I'm going to hit escape before I put that in. I've already got that in by putting this in, this, and this, so I don't need that one. But what I do need is I do need the distance from the center of my circle here and to here. And this has to be 2.5. Okay. And everything's turned black, but it still says it's underdefined. That's because I've got some stray lines in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm done with my dimension, but I'm going to trim to closest. I'm going to trim this little piece off right here, and I'm going to trim off this little piece right there. And now you'll see it's fully defined. My measurements are in. So I am going to exit the sketch and feature, extrusion, and I want it to be a 3-inch extrusion. And there's a fillet down here. This corner right here is actually filleted with a 1/2 inch fillet. So I'm going to go fillet, set it at 0.5 down here. Make sure it's full preview just so I can see. Yep, that's what I want. Okay, so that looks decent. Let's see. Now I am going to put in this wedge. But before we put in that wedge, we have to put in a new plane so that we can draw that wedge. So let's take a look at what our options are. We have a front plane, right? This front plane. So if I click on that front plane to show it, and if I hit the control key, if I hold down the control key on my keyboard and click on this plane, it highlights it, but it also allows me to create a new plane parallel to this. And what I want to do is I want to put a new plane right in the middle of this. Well, the whole thing is 3. So I want to offset this direction. I want to offset a new plane 1.5 inches. I just hit enter and notice that it gives me that plane. That blue plane is right down through the middle. And that's perfect. So let me check mark that. This is that new plane. So now I'm going to click on it and go normal to. Okay, so now I'm going to create this tricky little triangle that's right here in the middle. And it's tricky because when I draw it up here, I have to draw it to the tangent point of this top edge. Okay, it's a little tricky, so make sure we do it correctly. So I'm going to do a sketch of a line. I'm going to start down here at this bottom corner. I'm going to take it over a bit. And when I take it up to the top here, notice that if I hold out for a second on the edge of the circle, it gives me some extension lines in yellow. And what I want to do is I want to make this a tangent. I want to get right here tangent. And as I move my mouse back and forth on the edge, right next to my mouse is a yellow, um, little yellow blob that has a line with another line going through it in a circle right underneath where it says 3.32. As I move my mouse along right here, do you see that little tangent circle that pops up there also? That's what I want. So I'm going to click right here. And now I've got my line attached. But what I want to do now is I want to draw a circular line down to here. Well, it's kind of hard now that I actually screwed that up. There we go. What I did was my line is curved here. And I'm going to go right to the bottom of this edge. And now I'm going to go back to my original location down here in the corner. Okay, so the tricky part, now I'm going to hit escape to stop. The tricky part was drawing this little arc right here. And I did that by starting here, and I just moved my mouse down here, and then I kind of moved it back and back again. And it kind of figured that I wanted to draw a curve. So but originally mine came bubbling out like this. So I put my mouse back on the original and came down again, and it reset. Fortunately, it reset. So you're just going to have to fiddle with that a little bit and draw in that arc. If it doesn't work for you, just hit escape, start a new line, start it here, pull it down to here, then back up, and then pull it down again, and it should follow the contour all the way down. Okay, so what we want is we want this shape of our enclosed area. And hopefully that works out for you. That's a kind of a tricky line to draw. Okay, so now I'm done with the sketch. So I'm going to exit the sketch. I'm going to make sure that that sketch is highlighted. Go feature. I want to extrude boss. And the depth of this is 5/8. So I'm going to change this to 5/8. Enter. And notice that it's giving me only one direction from the center. Well, I don't want it going one direction. I want it split. I want half of the 5/8 to go on the left side and half of the 5/8 to go on the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change from the sketch plane. I'm going to change from blind. I'm going to go down here to mid plane. And what mid plane will do is put the plane right in the middle, go half to the left, half to the right. And I got my 5/8 of an inch, my 0.625 in there, check mark. We have that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put in our dimensions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to single click here. I'm going to go to the sketch, edit the sketch. Okay, so I'm allowed to go back in and edit something. So I'm going to go smart dimension, and I want a dimension from this line to this line. I want this to be a 45 degree. Notice that it adjusted it until I had 45 degrees in there. Let me check mark that I'm done and exit, and it redraws my piece with the correct angle in there. Okay, sorry, I should have done that originally. Hopefully you catch yours in time before you're done with exiting out of the sketch. Okay, now we've got a hole we have to put in here, and we've got a whole bunch of fillets that we have to put in. So let's put in the hole here. So I'm gonna sketch, circle. I still got this plane visible, so I'm gonna go right on the plane. This is going to be a diameter of 1.125. 1.125. And it says that the distance from the center to this end is 1.25 plus a half an inch. So that would be 1.75. So I need to go from the center to this edge, 1.75. And that's the problem with not getting the dimension from here to here, is this circle is now very close. And when we put in our fillets for the bottom of this, it may actually touch this. So I'm assuming that I probably drew mine a little bit too long here. But it doesn't give us a measurement on that. Yeah, oh well. So let's put in our, well, let's finish this, exit the sketch, go into our feature. We're gonna make a cut through all. Okay, so there's our hole. Now let's put in our final fillets. So fillet, and all the rest of them are going to be a 1/4 inch fillet, so 0.25, and that's going to be this edge. It's going to be this edge and this edge, and it's going to be this edge, this edge, this edge. Oops. I didn't want that whole face, so I'm going to come over here to face and delete that out of there. Put in this edge, this edge. And I'm supposed to do this edge too. Yeah, it's pretty close to our circle. So those are all the edges. Check mark. And there is our final product. All right, not too bad. Let's save this. Save as. And this is solid 9. And let's create a new drawing on an A4 landscape. Here's our solid 9. If you don't have it, go to View Layout, click on Model View, and it should give it to you right here. If not, you have to browse for it. Make sure your front view is selected. Check mark that we're done, and we're going to drag this down. Okay. We've got hidden lines to put in, so let's highlight our front view, scroll down here, turn hidden lines on, go to our isometric view, turn hidden lines off. See what it looks like without. That looks kind of cool without the lines on there. Let's leave it like that. We're also going to put in our center lines. We need to go to annotation. We only have one hole going through, so we'll put in that one hole through here. We just got to figure out where where these center lines are. I think this one and this one, the outside one. So center line from the outside to here, going right through the middle there, and here and here, and here and here. So have it here, have it here, have it here, here, here. Oh, we got to put it through here as well. There we go. So all of our center lines in. So we should have 2 center lines per view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, this actually needs, this is circular, so it needs a center line around it. So I need to get a center mark. Click on this outside arc. That will extend out, that'll extend out the center lines so that they're good. Okay, very good. Let's put in our name, right mouse click, edit sheet format. Highlight. You may not have to highlight. My name's long enough where I have to highlight it. Already says solid 9, so right mouse click up here now, edit sheet. Everything looks good. Let's save. Save as. This is solid 9 as a drawing. I'm going to do that again, however. Save as. Instead of a drawing, it's going to be a PDF, and that's what you're going to submit into Canvas for your assignment. All right. Hopefully that was helpful.